What's up, everyone? It's Matt Mrozik, and we're gonna just do a little YouTube live video, little update on stuff since I haven't done a video in like 2 months. It's been a while. People have been asking where my YouTube videos are, and I haven't been doing them because I've been busy and just painting. So I'll probably reduce number of painting videos for a while, just because I've always said this before. They slow me down. Even though I don't do a lot of editing, it's mostly really kind of trying to get the camera where it needs to be so you guys can see what I'm doing, but at the same time, I can see what I'm doing. So until I get like a two camera setup or something, or figure something out where I can have like a top mounted camera at all times, um, I'm just gonna kind of do videos every once in a while on certain subjects. So this little update on stuff. So the last video I did was on the Anycubic Photon Mono X printer that was sent to me to review. It printed great for like 10 days. I got a lot of great prints out of it, and then started acting up, having some issues. So I was on the group and I was asking questions, trying to fix it. It would work again and then kind of not work again. So they sent me another one. I also got a wash and cure station to go with that. I need to review that. But I'm really looking forward to that, even though I have a curing booth that I made out of a cabinet because the frozen transform prints are big. They sent me a wash and cure station to review, so I'm going to do that. On the 3D printing note, I just ordered a Frozen Sonic Mega 8K printer. So really looking forward to that. It's a pre-order. They announced it about a month and a half ago. And they had a really crazy early bird price of $1,000 if you could get in at the very, very beginning of the pre-order. You get it for $1,000. The shipping's about, for a single unit, is about, my Rosic on the move. I haven't done one of those in a while either. So they had a really crazy intro price of $1,000 if you could get it. And shipping on a single unit is like $500. So you're like at $1,500, which is what the Transform was 2 years ago. The great thing about the Mega 8K is that it's got a bigger build plate, where the Frozen has a 13-inch screen. The Mega has a 15-inch screen. It's 8K, which is twice the resolution as the Transform, and it's a mono screen. So what does that all mean? So if you don't know anything about 3D printing, which I didn't know anything about 3D printing 2 years ago. I was clueless. In the DLP, it was actually not DLP. It's like SLA. I always forget which one. It's not DLP, but anyway, you have two different versions of screens that you use to project the images as it prints. So there's an RGB, which is red, green, and blue, and a mono screen. Well, the Transform and earlier printers used RGB, which worked fine, but it blocks a lot of the UV light coming through, so the UV light's not as intense. The mono screen is only black and white, or gray. You can adjust, depending on some settings, you can adjust some of the grayness around the edges, and it lets a lot more light through, so your cure times are cut down significantly. For an example, on the Transform, with one of the resins I print, my normal exposure time would be like 4.5 seconds per layer. On a mono screen, that goes down to 1 second for that particular resin. So the exposure time is cut in, down to a third of what it was. Now you have all sorts of other things that take into consideration how long it takes, the movement of the plate, and all sorts of other things that determine how much time each layer takes. The exposure is cut way down. So another thing to take into consideration, as my camera decides whether it wants to focus on me or not. Let's see, focus. There we go. Is the resolution. So all these printers can typically print down to 0.01 millimeters or 1 micron. That's the layer thickness. The other resolution is the XY resolution. So for example, the Frozen Transform has an XY resolution of 76 microns, which is pretty good. But when you start getting down to the smaller printers like the Anycubic Photon, you're down to 50 microns. So the resolution is increased by 50%. Then we get down to like the Frozen Sonic Mini, I think that's like 32 microns. So as you have more pixels in a smaller area, the resolution goes up. So with the Frozen Mega 8K being an 8K resolution screen, twice the resolution as the Transform, the XY resolution goes from what 76 microns on the transform down to 43 on the Mega. So now we're getting close to like the resolution of the Frozen Sonic Mini 4K, better resolution than the Mighty 4K or the Anycubic. So to have that kind of resolution in that big of a space is pretty impressive. So what does that mean? That means you're going to see less print artifacts, less layer lines and stuff like that. So just higher quality prints. So really cool. So their projected ship date for the one, I have a friend here in Dallas. We bought the 2-pack because you get a discount if you buy 2. So we split the cost, and he's getting one and I'm getting one. So the projected ship date for that is, I think, October, November. I anticipate that will be delayed by a few months. The transform was delayed by like 4 or 5 months. So, let's hope for October, November, but I don't anticipate seeing anything till January, February, maybe. But anyway, so that's really exciting. So that's going to increase my ability to print better for people faster, because I have been doing quite a bit of printing for other people. I don't print for myself ever. I've got a bunch of prints I did a long time ago, but I've yet to paint or build anything for myself. You can see my next project, which is Jubilee. So I'm going to start working on her today. I need to clean up the pieces. This is from Wolf Packs. So I'm going to clean up the pieces. And I forgot everything's reversed on live. So we'll clean up the pieces, give her a bath. And there's a few little areas that need some, like I had to do a little sanding here on one of the legs. There's some stuff on it. There you go. Sorry, my phone rang. A little cleanup on her to do. Give her a bath, prime it, and then I'll start laying some paint down. The trick with her is the jacket is really tight on the shirt. That's probably Alina. She just tried to call me. So there's some scraping that goes on when you put the shirt up in the jacket. So I need to heat this up, move it around, and do that. Who's making the best 3D files now? There are a lot of great sculptors out there. It depends on what you're into. If you're into minis, Loot Studios does. A buddy of mine, my buddy Floyd, has a membership to Loot Studios. And since I have our printer, he sends me. I download the files for him and print for him. Those are amazing if you're into miniatures, and we usually upscale those by like 20 or 30%, and they print beautifully. So Loot Studios are into miniatures. Meg, Megh, he does amazing sculpting. I have actually several of his pieces. I have a Tomb Raider full figure. And then he gave out to people who purchased from him before a bust, which is, his sculpting is spot on. Like the likenesses are spot on. So like Angelina Jolie looks like Angelina Jolie, like spot on. And I'm a Scarlett Johansson guy, so if you're into Scarlett Johansson and Black Widow, he's got 2 versions. One where she's tied up on the chair like she was in Avengers, and then there's one where he just released for the new Black Widow movie coming out. So I've got that coming. So he does an amazing sculpting. There's a bunch. I can't think of names off the top of my head because I belong to so many 3D printing groups now that everyone kind of posts what they have. So basically, join those groups and see what people are posting and what they have, and you'll find someone you like or a subject matter you like. Now I will say that a lot of these guys, there's a few. And I can't remember names. What they do is they basically will take, I do all these custom pieces. They basically copy custom statues and then resculpt them and then sell them as their own files. Like there's a terrible, terrible version of the Vision. What is it? I forgot the Secret Empire Captain America. I did the prototype a couple of years ago. There's a terrible 3D sculpted version of that. It's just bad, and it's like and then someone took the Graven Labs Captain America and resculpted, and it's bad. I mean, I think they take these and they do a quick 1-day sculpt and try to pass it off as theirs, and then they're like, hey, check out this some piece. No, that's actually this sculptor piece, and you've copied it. But that's a whole nother subject as far as like copying sculpts and IP and all this. Thank you. My wife just made me an omelet. So that's a whole nother subject. But as far as like videos go, I'm kind of like backing off from those a little while. I've said this before. I don't make money on YouTube. I think I have some money in my YouTube account. I think over 10 years I've made like maybe $900. I don't. It's not like a business plan of mine. I'm not a YouTuber, so I don't. I don't know the analytics, and I don't have a scheduled upload time and all that stuff. Um, I've thought about it, but it's like I got. I'm so busy with the painting and printing. I don't know if I have time to do that too. Um, it's interesting because I can either paint or I can 3D print. And you think, well, why can't you just print and paint at the same time? Well, there's a lot of time that goes into prepping a file for printing. It's just not, I get a file and hit print. Some files, depending on how hard it is or the complexity of the piece, I'll spend a full day scaling, hollowing, adding holes, orienting, and adding supports. It could take me 30 minutes. It could take me 8 hours to prep a file for print. Um, so like when I print for my buddy Floyd, he'll send me a list of stuff, and I'll spend many nights staying up late just prepping the files for print. And that's just what it is. It's then if you print it and it fails, and you got to redo it, or you're having printing issues, you got to deal with that. So it's not just like printing a Word document. You got to do a lot of work before you print. And then if you're doing the post processing, that's a whole nother area of work. That's like basically getting a raw garage kit and getting it ready for paint. So I've got a buddy of mine, George Stevenson, who runs Blackheart Models. I've been doing some of his printing for him, and he pays me to print and do the post processing, which is great because then I see this finished print and it's ready for molding and casting. I did one for him this a while ago, an Exorcist piece. He does these classic horror pieces, and I did an Exorcist piece for him, which the sculpt was amazing. It printed beautifully, and it just looks it's going to be a really sharp kit. So if you're into classic horror, look up Blackheart Models because George Stevenson puts out an excellent product, and I've been doing some of his printing for him. I just did a little mini Maria from Metropolis. I did a Maria bust from Metropolis, and then he had me do a Death Dealer bust. So he does everything from little minis. He calls them micro minis, but like basically 72 millimeter, 32 millimeter, all the way up to life size busts and wall hangers and stuff. So he's got a huge line of products. His product line has expanded exponentially in the past 2 or 3 years. I remember when I first saw him at Winterfest, all he had were basically wall hangers and classic horror pieces. Now he's got everything from Predator to classic horror, just everything, historical pieces. He's got a really great line of kits. So check out Blackheart Models, George Stevenson on Facebook, or just look him up online. What else is going on? I just basically took the past week off from doing anything. We had family in town. I spent the past 6 weeks planning a surprise birthday party for my sister who just turned 50, so that went off without a hitch. So that's where I've been spending most of my time, is planning that and making sure that she didn't find out, and that everyone from coming in from out of town had a place to stay, and just getting it all scheduled. My wife worked her ass off too, getting that planned. So it's a little more on the personal side, but that's kind of where my efforts have been placed in the past, at least the full last week, was just basically doing that. I did a quick base repaint for a client of mine that he sent me months and months and months ago. And I'm like, okay, I had writer's block. I couldn't think of what to do with it. And sometimes when that happens, you just got to when I get writer's block or I can't think of what to do with a piece, I just have to put it aside, and eventually something will come to my head. And then I think I was dreaming about something, and it's like, okay, we'll go this direction. And he basically gave me free reign to do what I wanted, and it turned out really nice. It was huge improvement over the original paint job. So that was sent out to him. I just finished up the classic Iron Man again from Gravin Labs. I had my prototype casting that was sent to me as my payment. I think the production pieces on that have finally gotten painted, or they just got done doing the production paint sample. So I know Gravin Labs is running behind schedule as well as many other custom producers. There's been a lot of custom producers who have taken money and run, which is not good to hear, which really sucks. I hate that when it happens. Some people have lost a lot of money. It's like, and even really well-known producers have gone MIA and taking people's deposits or their full payment. Um, don't ever pay for a custom piece up front full. Don't ever do that. Give them your deposit, and then just know that if they're new, you're taking a gamble. Even if they're established, you're sometimes taking a gamble, especially with the way things are now with the supply chain and factories way behind schedule. It's kind of again, it's a little bit of a gamble, I think, for custom pieces. But there's some guys that are churning them out like no problem, like Sam at Group 18. Man, he's producing really nice quality stuff, and it's getting done in a very timely manner. So I don't know which factory he's using, but they're doing, man, they're cranking him out, and and they produce really nice work. So I follow him, and I've done some painting for him before, some personal stuff. He actually has a really cool Doc Ock and Spider-Man coming out, which is I would love to paint one. I don't know if you've seen this Doc Ock on the ground. He's holding up Spider-Man by one of his tentacles. It's a great sculpt. What else is going on? That's it. Pretty much just getting back into the swing of things this week, as the past week and a half has been kind of slow as far as working up in the studio. I cleaned my studio really well, like my display cabinet, which doesn't have a lot because I don't have a lot of personal pieces. Mostly it's all my Gundam stuff and a lot of unpainted pieces. But I dusted those shelves, which haven't been dusted in probably over a year. I'd be curious to know how people dust their statues because, like I know my stuff. Once you get dust in a lot of it, you just can't get it off. I saw some guy. He actually like washes his statues like under running water, which I guess it doesn't hurt him as long as you don't get water inside a hollow piece. People are like, why do you do this? Like, it's just water. As long as you dry it off and don't get it's not going to hurt your statue. It's water. If it's sealed well and the water's not going to hurt it, which totally makes sense. So, I'm like, yeah, that actually works. Use some running water, maybe a little soap, dry it off a little, and you got a statue good as new. Get a real soft brush, maybe do some washing there. Age of Apocalypse kit. So it's funny you said that. So I own the Tyrant. I personally own the Tyrant, Age of Apocalypse Tyrant, and then a client of mine just sent 3 to paint. He sent me the Age of Apocalypse kit. Tyrant sent me the Age of Apocalypse Colossus from DXA Designs, and there's a Shadow Cat. Is it Shadow Cat? I'm not familiar with the character, but they sent me 3 pieces, all from Age of Apocalypse from DXA Designs custom group. So I haven't painted them yet, but I'm going to. They're in the queue. And I have a client that I painted a bunch of stuff for. He has a DXA Designs Age of Apocalypse Tyrant also. He wants me to do it eventually. So I'll be doing 3 of those at some point. My personal piece, maybe I'll do my personal one when I do the second one. But on my personal one, I think I want to light up the base a little, do some lighting or something. And that's actually one I may keep because I actually have a spot for it. I've had it on display unpainted for 3 years, and it fits perfectly into this cabinet I have. So maybe that may be a piece that I actually keep for myself because I don't have room to display stuff. That's one reason when I paint something, but for myself, I sell it because again, it's not. I don't ever go look at my display cabinet like, ooh, check out all the stuff. It's just I like the process of painting, and then when someone else enjoys it, that's where I get the enjoyment out of this whole process. I'm working with another producer on doing some anime prototypes. I just did a Naruto for him, and we're gonna do some changes on it. I posted photos a couple weeks ago of him, the little 1/7 scale guy where I did all the printing and painting in house. There's some changes they want to do, and so we're gonna do one more just with those additional changes, and we made some different cuts on the sculpt for the factory and also for painting purposes. And then he's got a whole line of characters. So we just had a discussion this morning about the second one, and I am totally oblivious when it comes to that world of anime characters. So like I'm calling him the wrong names. I don't know how to pronounce them, but he's super cool. His name's Brian, and he's really working hard to put out a really good product of 1/7 scale anime characters. So keep an eye out for those if you're into that subject matter. He's going to be selling pre-paints, and I think I don't know what the price on those are going to be. I have no clue. So I don't know, but I think he's doing like runs of 100 or something like that. But yeah, so that's it. Just a quick little 20-minute update video. Quick 20 minutes, me rambling on what's going on, and I'll try to do some more painting videos here soon. I may do one on Nightcrawler that I've got coming over here because it's a really cool kit. And it's well, I never painted a Jubilee either. I don't do a whole lot of female characters. I do like doing them. And she'll be the first, I guess, non-Caucasian character I've done ever. I think I've never done a black character. I do have a blade over here I want to do. That's my piece, and then, but yeah, I think I've never done anything other Caucasian. So she's, I'm not sure if she's like Hispanic or Puerto Rican, but she's not. Well, she's not white, so she's got a different skin tone. So that'll be a nice challenge, nice change. So that's it. I'm gonna sign off, go eat my omelet, and then I'm gonna wash her and start throwing some paint on her. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.